Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us for our meet and greet. And this month we are focusing on CareerAbility. For those who don't know me, my name is Catherine Sullivan DiCarlo, and I am Vice President of Admissions and Marketing. And we have been rolling out these meet and greets all of this year, just focusing on the different programs that Chapel Haven offers that our own families might be interested in. So I'm delighted that we are today going to focus on CareerAbility, which has been a tremendously successful employment program for us. And I want to thank the team who put this together today. And I'm going to turn this over now to, before I do that, I do want to let you know we are recording this session and we will be sharing it on our YouTube channel. And we are going to, just letting a few more people in, we are going to leave plenty of time for question and answer. If you have a question as we go along and you want to put it in the chat, I will be monitoring the chat. So feel free to ask questions, and we want this to be as productive as possible. So thank you again for joining us. I'm going to turn this over now to Sarah Elsden, who is the Career Development Manager for CareerAbility.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So just quick introductions. My name's Sarah Elsden, and I'm the manager of our career development services, basically help guiding our individuals through all of our services, helping make their career decisions, and understand, where they fit best in our services, and also just help plan their future. So I wanted to introduce you to my two colleagues, Caitlin and Sue. So first, Caitlin will introduce herself first, and then Sue.
Thank you, Sarah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caitlin Drunzik. I'm the Program Manager of Employment Services. So as our adults are placed into different employment options, we oversee their support, finding these employment opportunities for them, and then helping them retain these jobs. Thank you all for joining today.
Thank you, Caitlin. My name is Suzanne Snowden, and I'm the manager of work-based learning and training. My programs basically support our individuals who are looking for some kind of externship or internship where they can learn employment skills to bring them to their next steps with the CareerAbility team under Sarah Elsden and Caitlin. And I look forward to talking with you all today.
Great. So just some background information about us. So CareerAbility is Chapel Haven's career development and employment division. So we're a pretty large program. We have 3 managers. We serve over 100 people right now. And we're a separate entity from the residential programs. But we very much work very closely with all the other departments and build upon all the skills that the students have learned and are currently learning in their other Chapel Haven services. And we just wanted to emphasize a couple of things before we get started that, CareerAbility is an optional part of Chapel Haven, and we are typically a fee-for-service program. Some of our services, typically the ones that Sue is going to talk about, fall under the residential tuition, while others are funded privately, and some are our services that Caitlin is going to discuss can be subsidized through an individual state funding. And, we, of course, part of our referral process, if you're interested, and we'll talk about that at the end, you and me will talk, and we will talk about your individual case and help you figure out your options with your resources. And we always do our best to, meet someone where they're at, or at least make a referral to another agency if we can't help you. So I'm going to go over our philosophy and a little bit of our background, and then we're going to dive into our services and some of the specifics and what it looks like. But as Catherine said, feel free to ask questions at any time. So CareerAbility was started at Chapel Haven really to support, part of Chapel Haven's core mission of empowering people to live independently and self-determined lives, right? And a big part of that is meaningful employment. I think a lot of us, a big part of our identity is in our work or what we do to, give back, or whatever is our purpose in life is often related to employment. So that was a piece of Chapel Haven that we've always had vocational services, but the employment piece needed, much more focus. And that was really why we were created. And we've been here about 5 years. And literally our purpose is to bring that meaning and that independence and purpose into someone's life. When we talk about meaningful work, what that means to us is that, it is really related to someone's abilities and their interests. So they are literally interested in what they're doing and it fits their skill set. Their employment contributes to their everyday quality of life. They're working for a competitive wage. So, they're being paid fairly, at least minimum wage, but we definitely seek a competitive rate depending on the field they're pursuing. And we feel very strongly that all of our individuals are given opportunity and choice as they enter employment. We're going to talk a little bit more about our model, but we really lead with the individual instead of placing them where there are openings. We start with the individual and what they want and develop the opportunities from there. So that anytime we talk about meaningful work, that's what we mean. And as I said before, our philosophy centers on each person's strength and preferences. So anything we are doing to plan someone's career services, we have that is person-centered, meaning that the individual drives the process. We're going by what their choices are, what they want to explore, and trying to guide them in the right direction based on what we know their skills are and where they do best. But, the person is at the center of it all. Also, a big part of our philosophy is giving our individuals the opportunity and the exposure to different careers and opportunities to see what they like and where they do best. So we're going to talk about our discovery process a lot more. We also believe that one of our main kind of clients is the employers. So we offer a lot of resources and training to employers. And our goal is to, help someone obtain employment, but then grow and, always pursue new goals or grow either in their current position or it's all about that career trajectory and that growth over time. And a big part of that happens in the career advisement and some of the assessment that we do, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. And just to be clear, what we are not are, we absolutely do not support sheltered workshops. We do our very best to help everyone and serve everyone as best as we can. We also help connect people with, whether it's our scholarship committee or meet you where you're at financially. We don't spend a ton of time doing testing. We believe in some assessment, but a lot of assessment happens actually on the job and setting up situations where the individual can explore and we see how they do. We do not believe in free labor or some minimum wages, which I touched upon before. We are not really like a day program or a kind of keep you busy kind of program. Our goal is to really make sure that we're getting to that goal of meaningful employment. So we are not really the program for you if you're really looking to just stay busy throughout the day. We want to help you find that long-term meaningful job and maybe have some learning experiences to lead up to that. And we have a variety of staff with various expertise on staff, but we are not a clinical program, so we don't provide therapeutic supports and things like that. And I've touched upon them, but there are certain factors that make CareerAbility's model unique compared to other providers, and they are listed here. So I touched upon it before, but a person-centered approach to career development. So basically, from the very beginning, we start working with someone, we map out a personal and career development plan. So we learn our goal is to learn everything there is to learn about that person, where they thrive, what their needs are, and we map it all out into a plan. And then once you learn more about our services, it'll make sense. We will map out kind of a trajectory of services. Maybe they've never worked before and they need some experience first, or they need to do some discovery. We will start there, and then maybe do an internship in the field of choice, and then pursue employment or whatever it looks like for that individual. We're going to talk more about discovery, but discovery is very, very important to give the job seeker an opportunity to be immersed in a work environment and really tease out what their ideal work situation is and what they do best. Sue is going to talk about work-based learning and training, but we feel very strongly that offering that job skill development is very, very important. So you get to practice in real time those professional skills, get feedback from an actual employer, and you can immerse yourself in that industry or field before you sort of make that, that decision to pursue a job. And then, as Caitlin will dive into, we have very, very comprehensive employment services, and we actually specialize in customized employment, which we're going to talk about, and we're actually doing a follow-up workshop on in July. It's a very in-depth and individualized approach to employment, and we have long-term supports. So that's kind of how our model stands out compared to other models or other service agencies. And then to kind of illustrate what we're going to talk about when we go over our services, this is like the trajectory of someone's career path, what it could look like. So this represents like a typical progression toward employment, but you know, every person is different. So you might skip steps, or everyone's path may be different, but this is generally how we're structured. So in the purple, the discovery, you are all, it's all about career exploration. So you might do some of that within your residential program or in your daily life right now, maybe in our CLP program, in volunteering. It's all about exploring, but we do some of that as well. Then the green is Sue's part of the department, the work-based learning and career training. So it's all about getting that education and that experience. And then the blue is all about employment and really finding that right match and the approaches we take to get there. So we're going to go through those a little bit more in depth, and that's generally kind of the framework and the trajectory that you can think about when we're explaining these services. Okay.
So Sarah,
Yeah.
take a pause. We do have a question. Linda is wondering if a student has participated in REACH/PAVE, do you start from scratch again, or is the discovery part of what happened in PAVE?
That's a great question. So that is part of what happened in PAVE. PAVE actually falls in the green step, work-based learning right here. So actually that student has already done quite a bit of discovery in their REACH program. And then PAVE is really meant to, okay, I mean, you've got some pretty good professional experience, right? And job skill development for 10 months. So typically for a student after PAVE, if they know what they want to do, maybe they have some experience prior to PAVE or something, they might have found a field where they fit, they might be ready for employment next, or sometimes We're starting to get there, but someone might need a little bit more experience. Maybe they do an individual internship or something. So everybody's a little bit different, but you're typically at the green stage by the time you have graduated a residential program. So we wouldn't start from scratch. We would pursue employment most likely next, the blue. And Caitlin will talk.
Let me just ask Linda, did you want to ask anything further, Linda? You're welcome to unmute. Okay, maybe not. A question from Addie, did you say you don't help older students who are now residents?
We do. We serve all Chapel Haven people, as long as you have gone through a Chapel Haven program or are affiliated with Chapel Haven in some way. We are just not open to the public at this point, so you have to be affiliated with Chapel Haven. We serve a lot of people in supported living, past graduates. It's actually probably the majority of people who are in employment with us, employment services, are graduates or receiving some sort of community outreach services or supported living services. Okay, so let's get into our service offerings. Caitlin's going to start talking about the employment services, which starts a little bit with the discovery. So she'll talk about that.
Thanks, Sarah. So as we started discussing, our discovery process is really a process that allows the adults that we're supporting to be empowered to learn about what works for them in a work environment and what does not work for them, and also helps us to learn the same things about them. So it really empowers them to identify their own needs, what their interests are, their skill set, and also what an employer might need from them. Similar to what Sarah had said earlier, discovery is not a program. This is a period of time where we're seeking to learn information about an individual, but is not ongoing or a day program. So this discovery period really focuses on learning the strengths of the individual and also some of the challenges that might need to be considered in order to seek employment that is a good fit for them in the future. So some things that are included in discovery might be self-reflection with the individual, interviews with them, their family or their friends, or even an informational interview with an employer, which means that we could support the individual to set up a time to meet with an employer of interest and learn more about their specific field and the opportunities that might be available, what the day-to-day might be like, etc. So it's really time to get to know more about a specific field or a specific employer. So discovery may be able to be done in a variety of settings. So this includes individual and group volunteering, which we're going to get a little bit more into. Typically at nonprofits, this is occurring. Work-based learning, which Sue is going to speak about shortly. Special projects that might be identified. Again, some observations we may complete of them or interviews with them or their family or their friends to get to know them better. And also career exploration experiences where they can be immersed in an employment setting, working side by side with other employees and really getting a feel for the type of environment that is and what would work for them. Also, in order to set us up for success and remain accountable in what we're looking to learn, we do set goals that will contribute to the discovery process as well. This really requires the individuals to take a look at themselves, be open about what is going to work for them in their work environment and what's not going to work for them, so we can utilize this information in the future to inform a job placement. We also really want them to focus on what they do well, where they feel they can be successful, what type of environment that is, the tasks that they enjoy, but also the skill set that they're demonstrating. So, we found that interest, as important as it is, it's really important for us to also learn what the skill set of the individual is so we can identify a job that's a proper fit in the future for them. And also this requires the job seekers to, take responsibility for their job search, build a personal job search network. That networking aspect is very important and really holding them accountable to being devoted to this process. All right. So some ways that we implement discovery within CareerAbility, there is the advisement and the assessment aspect. As we had said earlier, Sarah is the career development manager, and we also have a career development advisor who works closely with our individuals to set goals and learn more about them. Again, all in all, to inform a job in the future that's going to be a good fit. Individuals may take part in the CareerAbility catalog, where we might have workshops or different courses that are facilitated by CareerAbility staff in order to build employment skills. Special projects, some mentoring possible with employers, or other workshops that they might participate in. And then we do, as I said before, have our volunteering where discovery occurs. So this might be individual, but typically it's small group opportunities that exist each semester. These typically do occur at nonprofits. That's our main focus as far as volunteer. And these opportunities are designed to assist the individuals with learning more about themselves and really gain some of these employment skills while they're participating. So we really try to match them up with volunteer sites that are aligned with their interests or what some of their vocational goals might be. So it gives us a better view of what that skill set looks like and to get an idea of their success in that field. During this time, each person is monitored, they're evaluated throughout the volunteer experience, and they work closely with the job coach who supports them in learning their tasks and building a relationship with their supervisor as well, receiving feedback and just building overall employment skills during that time. And participation can be temporary or ongoing. It really depends on the individual. As we said earlier, we're person-centered. So the variety of amount of time that individuals volunteer varies. Some might be once a week, some might be a couple times a week. It may be for a brief period of time. But again, it depends on the person. And so these are just some examples of group volunteering sites that we have. So the volunteers, they work in small groups with one job coach supporting them. A group is typically anywhere from 2 to 5 people. Again, this is designed to help individuals to engage in meaningful experience, build these employment skills, and get practice in an employment setting. And they, again, as I said before, we try to match them to sites that align with their interests and their goals. So these individuals here are volunteering at Beardsley Zoo. This is a seasonal volunteer site. And some of our established volunteer sites include the Downtown Evening Soup Kitchen, Milford Senior Center, Massaro Community Farm, Beardsley Zoo, Friends of Edgewood Park, Mary Wade Nursing Home. These are just to name a few. We also have a relationship with Head Start through LULAC, which is a schooling program for preschool age children. So these are just some examples. And as Sarah said before, in regard to some services that state agencies might fund, like DDS, some individuals do use DDS funding in order to fund their group volunteering experiences. So I did want to make mention of that as well. Typically a DSO or a DSH budget can be used for group volunteer. And that's something that we could work with someone's DDS case manager to determine what their budget would allow or advocate for, additional hours if that was something that was necessary. So just a continuation of how we implement discovery. So in employment services, we begin at a more in-depth process of discovery called facilitated discovery. So this really expands the discovery process and allows individuals more opportunity in a one-on-one setting to get that career exploration where they're working alongside other employees in local businesses, typically for a briefer period of time, which I'll go into shortly, really so that we can learn more about them and they can learn more about themselves and their employment considerations. So all going back to what works for them and what doesn't. And then we take all of this information and bring it into an employment plan that our career development advisors create. And that informs our effort for job search and job placement, and if customized employment is necessary, which I'll go into a little more later. Also, we implement discovery through work-based learning and training, which Sue is about to explain more. This can be offered through PAVE, our partnership for achievement through vocational experience, which is a 9-month internship program that we have with local businesses, including Yale New Haven Hospital, the JCC, and Wayland Engineering, where individuals are on site for that period of time, working closely with a mentor in their department and a variety of experiences. And there's also a curriculum component to that. In addition to that, there may be internship opportunities, career training support, other training opportunities, which Sue, I'll let you explain further.
I apologize. I was muted. I was listening to Caitlin. I love listening to Caitlin explain what we're doing. It's very exciting. So thank you, Caitlin. I know you already started talking a little bit about work-based learning. So we are a 10-month program. I'll start with, what we do. So it is a goal-oriented program. It's very structured. It's for a specific time period. And the curriculum is included and taught through a classroom component, which is very important to delve into the soft and hard skills that our individuals will need when they move through this process with the CareerAbility team. So we kind of really focus on real world instruction and real world experiences that happen every day, from travel experiences, getting to the workplace, talking at work, communicating with our colleagues at work, all those really important skills that kind of need to be taught often and every day for our individuals. So this decision to go into paid or work-based learning is a really great step for people to kind of explore what it is to be fully immersed in a job for a long period of time. So the individuals that come into paid or work-based learning, retail sales, they have probably had some experience, but this kind of really opens up a door to exploring other opportunities in work sites where they might not have had before. So it's really an opportunity for them to really start thinking about the decision process as they explore careers, and kind of making it really meaningful and important to the next steps. So these are the qualities that we look for and our aim to do within our work-based learning programs. We do have a strong classroom component with curriculum, like I said, that kind of involves those hard and soft skills that we need to maintain our job, really important in the workplace. So we kind of work with technical skills, computer skills, and working with communication and understanding how to develop those skills for individuals. The mentors that we provide are also trained. We do employer training before the year starts. And we have found that is very important, and we continually to get asked by our employers for this training to help them navigate with their the students that come through their programs, and it's very important. So that's kind of a really big piece that we do beforehand with our employer sites. So this is a typical program detail from before the pandemic. We did have a kind of a break with our PAVE program. So the PAVE stands for Partnership for Achievement Through Vocational Experience. And this is one of our more popular programs. We do have 3 sites that we are, and we continue to build and plan to add more sites as we look at different career paths, but we currently have 3. So it's kind of a typical year, August through June. They're actively participating 5 days a week. During the pandemic, it was 3. Starting in the fall, we're hoping to ramp it back up to 5 days a week. We're very excited to do that. Our 3 employers are Yale New Haven Hospital, Jewish Community Center here in Woodbridge, and Wayland Engineering in Chester, Connecticut, who have all agreed to have us come back 5 days a week, pretty much. So we're excited about that. Adding more jobs at each of those sites so we can accommodate more individuals who are looking for this service. So 3.5 hours, is their work shift. During that, they're, expected to follow directions, getting tasks completed with mentors or supervisors, we teaching them how to take a break and how to come back from a break, and which are all important, skills that we sometimes forget to talk about. It's really important. And every day there's a vocational curriculum that is YNHH stands for Yale New Haven Hospital. Thank you, Addie. So the vocational curriculum is delivered by work-based learning specialists at each of the sites. This past, during the pandemic, the students all kind of came back to campus because we didn't have the spaces at the locations, but that's all coming back on board too. So we're very excited to get back in and going full bore with our pay program. The work-based learning specialists provide that one-to-one support during the training period. We do a travel training at the end of August, the beginning of September, to really establish the confidence that a student needs to get on a city bus and travel to work with everything they need to get there successfully. And that kind of rolls into, we do onboarding, orientation, everything that you would need for a job. All these sites require that for us and our individuals. So that right from the beginning, they get all that really great background training that's really important. The work-based learning specialists, trains the young person to complete their tasks as well as they can in the beginning and kind of develop the skills they might need if they need some accommodation or, kind of different way to do something. That's where the work-based learning specialist comes into play. And they're continually having that conversation with the individual in their departments about how can I do this job the best way I can. So it's a continual long week of training and learning, and it's really, really been a successful program. We're coming on our 10th year with Yale New Haven Hospital, which is very exciting. And we started in 2012 there, and over the last 10 years, we've gone through all these different departments. Thank you, Sarah. Unit Material Services, which is on each floor, where the students will be working with a mentor to create a schedule and tasks that they need to complete during that 3 hours. It may range from, storing things or bringing materials throughout each of the floors. We have a very wonderful individual who's been working with us over there for 8 years. His name is Roger, and he works in Unit Material Services over in the North Pavilion and the Smilo Cancer Center. And he loves having our individuals come and help him do his work. So that's been a very successful partnership with him. Material Services is kind of down in the basement. And if you ever been to Yale New Haven Hospital, it's like a whole city there underneath. They have carts and people driving around with vehicles, and it's like a great working machine. And our individuals work with the department manager down there. His name is Anthony, and he again loves having our individuals come and learn there. And he's been a very wonderful, successful partner with us as well. Recently this year, we started with the food service and our retail departments at the hospital. That was kind of a new thing this year, working in the cafeteria alongside the paid employees there to support the food service for staff, families, visitors that come through the hospital and get, want to eat a meal together. So the Volunteer Services Office, again, has been a wonderful place for us to not only work on our, soft skills, meeting and greeting and kind of communicating with colleagues through the day, but they've also given us many projects throughout this year. So we're very grateful to their involvement. And patient services was another new site. It's kind of behind the scenes where the individual that worked there was kind of on the computer doing, some computer skills, printing out things for recent patients, items that needed to be returned and mailings and things like that. So that was a very important department that we had there. So Wayland Engineering, a wonderful site in Chester, Connecticut, is a manufacturing company that we partnered with. I think we've been there 6 years now. And they have 3 or 4 jobs there that they have really embraced our individuals who are looking into maybe more of a hands-on engineering type work. There's an assembly department where students like this individual that's standing here kind of works on a big table, and kind of the light fixtures move from person to person, and they are able to learn alongside the staff how to assemble these items following a schematic, directions, and really getting immersed in that job. The warehouse, it's a very large facility, and they are constantly moving material from one end of the warehouse to the other. So they found an opening for one of our individuals who kind of wants to keep moving. It's perfect for someone who kind of wants to move around a lot, but they bring a cart back and forth to different departments in the warehouse. And then we had someone in the cafeteria this year who worked alongside the staff there to support special events, keep the cafeteria running, and coffee, and it was kind of a great time or a place for someone to experience or explore if they had a customer service idea of looking into something like that. So that was a great site. It's a wonderful site. And this is our most recent partner, the JCC of Greater New Haven, right up the road from us here at Chapel Haven in Woodbridge. It's great. It's a large facility, but it's a very homey facility. We started working with them several years ago with our individuals to work up there or work out up there. And we've continued that partnership now with them kind of opening their doors to us for our PAVE group, working in the sports and recreation, member services, human resources, marketing and events, kind of all the behind the scenes. And our individuals worked right alongside department managers and mentors to work on marketing skills and membership, sitting at the front desk, answering the phone. So that the JCC has really become a really important part of our PAVE program. Very excited to be working with them. So this the other opportunity which we're continuing to build.
Hey, Sue,
Yeah.
before you go on, I just want to say that I've had the chance to be at the graduation ceremonies for PAVE at Yale New Haven and at Wayland. And of course, I've been over to the JCC a lot. And it is really amazing how these supervisors in these different job settings take to our adults and really end up loving working with them, and talk about how much more rewarding it is for them probably than for the adult. And so you guys have done a phenomenal job with all 3 of those sites in just really creating a welcoming environment for our adults. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Catherine. I know I get that every time I go, even, the JCC, which is our most current, this year it was a little touch and go there, getting everything set up, but it's been a wonderful experience. And like you said, we hear from them every day how it's brought meaning to their work, having our individuals there. And we actually, are looking they've opened up their doors to possibility of employment over there at the JCC. So we're just having those conversations, and they're recognizing the value that our individuals can bring to the work site. And it's really wonderful. Thank you for that, Catherine. So another opportunity that we have here is, an idea that we would like to develop a culinary program. So we're trying to kind of work that out right now, but we do have a diner and a cafe here on campus where our students can have the opportunity to do some job shadowing and or real, connecting to the job. And first, if they're interested in some kind of food service or hospitality or customer service, we have the diner here at the Welcome Center that's been up and running, I think now for 16 years. And I've been working closely with the staff in there. We have our week visitors that come and do a really wonderful, a way to kind of see how, if they wanted to work in the food services, that we have that opportunity. So there's an opportunity for us to have a culinary program. We have not started it yet, but it is in the back of our minds, and it's something we really want to get started very soon. So, and our retail sales program, which is in I think it's kind of our third year, but this year was our most robust year so far, I believe. We did 6 months and we have a partnership with CVS. But this is for someone who is interested in retail, maybe, or also just interested in kind of expanding their knowledge of retail and customer service and what it all entails. So they have an opportunity to be immersed in a curriculum for the first couple of months, the first 3 months. It's a 6-month program at this time. And the last 3 months is an externship in a retail environment. And we currently have our students going to the CVS right down the road here, which is nice. They can just walk there. And we have the manager there. His name is Elson. He has worked with individuals before at other stores, and he's a new manager. And he was so welcoming and said, come on in, we'd love to work with you. So that's been exciting this year. And they have the opportunity to practice their skills they learn in the classroom, and the words and the terms. It's great to hear them talking about what they're learning this time of year, where our programs are kind of buttoning up. But for anybody that's interested in kind of immersing themselves in a retail environment, this is another really great program. We have a CVS mock store right on our campus in the building that the classroom is in. So they have their availability, and the picture up there is our store. So we can, they learn all those fronting and facing and stocking and inventory skills, and just kind of maneuvering around items and in a store, and kind of talking about what they need to know once they go to their externship. So there is an opportunity to take the National Retail Federation exam in industry fundamentals. And we do have an opportunity for some people, if they're interested, to take the Serve Safe certification exam, which also, if they're interested in restaurant, or a food service career, it's an excellent certification to bring along with you. So that's very exciting. So the other opportunity, so we have PAVE, which is a 10-month program. We have the retail sales program, which is a little shorter. It's like 6 months. And then we have the work-based learning individual experience, which is a little bit different. It's more of a one-on-one program. But there are opportunities to really focus on, a business in the community that they already have maybe had their eye on, and they can get, their hands-on experience. Excuse me, again, we kind of work with them to get those employment skills down, and kind of, it's more of a one-on-one experience. But, you know, it's a one school semester. So it's like the screen says, it's ranged from 5 to 20 hours per week. So it's a little bit, it's structured and goal oriented, but it's a little bit less. So there's no group. It's just a person going with a work-based learning specialist or someone from the CareerAbility team, one-on-one, to kind of explore opportunities in the community that might be interested in. And I'm going to bring you over to Caitlin.
All right, thank you, Sue.
Yeah, you're welcome, Caitlin.
All right, variety of experiences within work-based learning and training. Oh my goodness. All right, and I know we are getting closer to 1 o'clock, so I will try to keep this brief, but also include as much information as possible. So going back to employment services, so if we think to the ladder of the ideal progression for people who are pursuing finding a job, ideally after completing work-based learning and training, someone would come our way for employment services. Although I can't stress enough, we are person-centered and that this progression is ideal, but it's not what everyone follows. So our employment services, again, are focused on finding those competitive, meaningful, long-term jobs for the individuals we support. And we really find out a lot of information about them in order to find a job that is a good fit. So our phase 1 includes our intake period with our career development advisors, which Sarah is going to explain after this slide. And facilitated discovery. So this is that expansion of discovery that we began talking about earlier. And the purpose of this is so we can gain a really comprehensive, holistic understanding of the individual and what works for them and what does not work for them in the workplace. We use all of this information to go ahead and inform a job search or placement with our job developer. And in facilitated discovery, individuals again have the opportunity to engage in career exploration and work off-site at a variety of local businesses alongside other employees, practicing these employment skills and being assigned a variety of tasks so we can learn more about them. These career exploration sites that are set up within facilitated discovery, we find strategically in the intake period, we seek to our career development advisors will find questions that we're looking to learn about the job seeker that will inform a job that is a good fit. So we use that as a guide to determining what type of facilitated discovery experiences they should complete, where they should go, so we can learn the answers to these specific questions that will inform a good fit of a job. And I will bring it back to Sarah for a moment to talk about career advisement.
Thanks, Caitlin. So I guess just to put it all together, the career advisor at this stage is just synthesizing everything we've learned about the individual through discovery, through work-based learning, summarizing it all to create that employment plan and that blueprint for job development. So it's someone's skills, their interests, their needs, the factors of the work environment we have to keep in mind, job coaching strategies, all those things. So if there are any holes in that plan or anything we need to learn further, that's where facilitated discovery comes in. We just have to fill in any gaps so we know exactly what job we're looking for. We know exactly what that person needs. And what's good about this whole process is that say you started working with employment services and we gave all this documentation, we did this whole process, you have this beautiful employment plan, but maybe you can't afford the remaining of services, or you work with BRS, the state, and you want to work with them for job placement. All of this documentation is portable, so you can bring it to another vendor if you want, or say you have to move away. You know, it's really nice that we've compiled all of that information. That's been helpful to families that we've worked with, that, you know, something comes up and they have to move or something, and it's like all of this work is already done. So you know exactly what kind of job, you know, you need to go seek. So that's been nice. But considering if you continue working with us, then we start job development in the next stages of the process. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was everything is done as a team. So we call it a career management team, a CMT. So the job seeker is at the center of that, but parents, families, support staff, anyone that the job seeker determines, is a key player in their life are at the table, and we're making a lot of these decisions and things together, which is really great. And part of the success really goes to that collaboration, I think. Okay, back to Caitlin.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, so I do want to touch on customized employment, which we brought up before. So by definition, customized employment is a process for achieving competitive integrated employment or self-employment through a relationship between an employee and an employer that's personalized to meet the needs of both. So this is something that is recognized by the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, a strategy that has been very successful for many job seekers over the years. So essentially what this would be our team, our job developer, determining the needs of a local company and partnering with them to create a job that may not already exist, that's going to meet the skill set of the job seeker that we're searching for. So this goes beyond, a typical search of looking at job listings or things of that sort. This really involves getting to know a company, finding out what their unmet needs are, and once we've identified those, negotiating tasks that can be compiled into a role that are going to match the skill set of one of our job seekers. So this definitely does take time. It's a lot of learning about a company and developing a relationship, but we will say we've seen the success of this. In the long term, it really decreases the need for long-term ongoing support from a job coach, and it's really beneficial to both the job seeker and the company. Just an example is, if we find a company that someone, a higher level executive, let's say, is completing data entry tasks or other tasks that can really be delegated to another role. Learning that, we might negotiate that, let's say 4 or 5 tasks that others really can't devote that much time to could be negotiated into one position that one of our job seekers might be a good fit for. Not everyone requires a highly customized job. Some people do, some people don't. But one of the great things about the process of discovery helps us to work with the job seeker so we can determine the level of customization they're going to need. Or if they're just going to need on-the-job supports or help advocating for reasonable accommodations. So we can't stress enough the importance of that discovery and phase 1 period that encompasses facilitated discovery and intake that will help us learn about if customization to this level is needed. And this is just a graphic of some of the process of customized employment here in black. So again, it begins with discovery, and then a vocational profile is determined. Just customized planning. Some of the language is a little different that we use. We develop an employment plan, which is really the blueprint for our job search for our seekers. And another thing I want to stress was that back in November and December, 8 members of our team underwent a customized employment training through ACRE, which certified us to be able to provide customized employment to individuals. So we all have been trained in this process and are gaining more familiarity with it over time and implementing the principles for the adults that it's beneficial for. So this is just an example of the discovery process and how it leads to essentially a blueprint for employment. So we start with that discovery experience, which can include volunteering and really learning about what works for the individual on site and what doesn't. Helps them to summarize what they've learned about themselves and also us to summarize what we've learned to develop this blueprint or this employment plan that we then utilize in order to inform a job search. Then we put that into effect in our job search with our job developer, and that leads us to a placement. It really provides structure to the plan and helps us to stay on track as far as identifying positions that are going to be a good fit. So we track job retention at 90 days, 6 months, 12 months, and beyond that. We really pride ourselves in our retention levels. They are excellent. And I want to stress also that although the majority of the coaching support will begin in the first 90 days, and individuals typically require more support at that time and learning their tasks, but also very much building a relationship with their employer and their coworkers and that social aspect. We can provide job monitoring beyond the 90 days as well. It's typically less time that's needed for support. We always stress gaining independence. That is our goal. And so over time, we gradually fade that support away, but some people will benefit from continued job monitoring over time. And this is just a case study of a young man named Kyle that we've worked with, who has been in his job for, I believe, at least 2 years now. So I'm just going to go quickly through his story, but Kyle was part of the REACH program, and he received transition supports through Bridge, which is a former program. Now we have a 3rd year of REACH if necessary, but very similar. Transitioned into the supported living community, and he came our way in 2018. Kyle partook in volunteer employment experiences. He engaged in one-to-one advisement to gain a sense of his employment aptitudes and skill set and interests, so we could use that to inform a job search. Food service was a primary area of interest for Kyle. We held an informational interview with a local employer. So again, that's that process of getting to know an employer about their business, their needs, and also their willingness to, lean into our model, to learn more about what we do, and to work closely with our staff to ensure that they are willing to provide the support that we recommend, and also how they see that this is beneficial on both sides, the value that our individuals are going to bring to the business. So this relationship led to a job interview at a restaurant for Kyle. Our CareerAbility staff coached him through this interview. He was hired in June 2019. Oh, so it's 3 years this month. A career transition specialist, which is a job coach who will work with our individuals primarily in their first 90 days of employment, really honing in on learning their tasks and building those social connections with their colleagues. So the career transition specialist, or CTS, worked closely with Kyle to ensure he was successful in his new job, supported him in orientation, training, travel training, transportation, career tutorials, developing strategies, advocating for himself for accommodations. So the support is endless. It's not just learning the tasks, and it happens on and off site. Over time, Kyle gained confidence and his skill set developed. So he received less support gradually, and less need for job monitoring over time. So for a period of time, Kyle was working completely independently with no job monitoring, but then his employer wanted to teach him new skills and requested some support from us in helping him to acclimate to his new tasks. So we went back in and provided that job monitoring for Kyle. And he still retains this job to this day. As I said, it's his 3-year anniversary this month. Some of the notes from his employer: he has perfect attendance, he's committed to the job, he really brings a positive culture to the restaurant he works for because of his enthusiasm. So congratulations, Kyle. And this is just one example of our process and individuals we've worked with who are still retaining these jobs today. And also I want to touch upon supported employment. So as I said before, when someone is placed an individual in one job, they work closely with a career transition specialist who's going to provide on and off-site coaching to help them acclimate to their role, to learn their tasks, to build those social relationships and rapport with their supervisor and colleagues. And it can also involve off-site training or meetings. If anything comes up at the job site that they could benefit from some off-site support and conversation as well. We also can provide some ongoing employment support for individuals who may require some additional support, could be individual or in a small group. But even our group supported employment, which I'm going to speak to in the next slide, it's always an inclusive, integrated environment where they're working alongside other colleagues at the employer that they're working for, and earning a competitive wage. So they are still receiving this job coaching. We are taking data in a task analysis and creating strategies for individuals to gain independence and success on site. And they're really integrated into the environment, again, working alongside other employees. And we always want to foster gaining that independence for them.
So we have a minute to go.
Sure. Thank you, Catherine. So just some quick examples of some of our group supported employment sites. Again, these are individuals who go out in a small group, typically 2 to 5 people with a job coach, and work in a company alongside other employees. Some examples of current relationships we have are with the Groton Sub Base, Ivy League Landscaping, Bureau of Aquaculture, Autism Health and Fitness Center, Department of Transportation, the Westville Renaissance Alliance, or WIBRA, and our own Chapel Haven Cleaning and Grounds crews, which happen here on campus.
All right, we have quite a few more slides, so I know Catherine said she'll send it out, but Ken's crew really quick. Caitlin, do you want to mention that, and then I'll wrap up?
Sure. I'll just give a brief explainer of Ken's crew. They're a program separate from Chapel Haven who also share a similar mission of helping individuals find employment and success in employment. So we have partnered with them. So we refer individuals to Ken's crew who have expressed interest. They have a relationship with local Home Depots. And so then through our referral, we work with Ken's crew to help place them, or Ken's crew places them in positions at local Home Depots. They provide job coaching, very similar to our process. And there's an assessment period that they must go through first with Ken's crew to determine if it's a good fit, if they're a good fit for the program. They're offered up to 20 hours a week of work, on-site job coaching through Ken's crew. These are not seasonal positions. And if they are a top performing employee, they have the option to apply for full-time work. And they also get to partake in monthly meetings with their colleagues and some of their coaches to discuss whatever might be coming up on the site, and really have an open forum for all colleagues to connect and share what they're experiencing.
Great, so those are all of our employment services. I'll leave you guys to read about our outcomes. We have phenomenal outcomes compared to the national average. We're doing our job, and we just hope to keep growing and serving more and more people. The last couple of things I will say is that because we're person-centered, we're not focusing on, just cleaning jobs or just food service jobs. We're really following the individual's skill set and interests. So our goal is to mirror placements in all of the career clusters, like all of the industries. And we're almost there. We have 15 out of 16. They're definitely more popular industries, but we're working to get there. These are just some examples of businesses we've partnered with in the past. Some are current, just to give you an idea. Some great pictures of people working. And check out our Workplace Wednesday posts on Facebook.
Please like our Facebook page at Chapel Haven, and you can follow along every Wednesday on the latest employed or volunteer space or whatever.
Right. I think it's so nice seeing the real-time examples. So just two more things. If you want to learn more, want to get involved with us, please contact me. I receive all referrals and can help you figure out, what's best for your child or you as a job seeker, and also can share with you some of our timelines for our services, fees, etc. And then we just encourage you to join us on July 21st for our information session about customized employment. We will have a parent on with us, share some more case examples, things like that. And we just hope it will be a resource down the road to offer families as they work with us in customized employment. So thank you guys so much. Any last minute questions or anything? We're happy to stay on a couple more minutes.
Okay. Well, I really, really want to thank Sarah and Sue and Caitlin for this presentation. I think it's been so impressive what you all have done, and really have moved the needle into that category of meaningful employment. And we really appreciate everybody who attended today.